T-minus 5 minutes. Great, put that over there. Thank you. No, we'll do it over there. Yeah, there we go. Yep. Thank you. Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you very much. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah. All right. All right. What's happening over here? All right, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in. It is Geezy Truth News. Thank you. Yes, we have a lot to talk about. It's been a long time and we got a lot to catch up to. Thank you. Alright, everybody. It is April 20th, 2018. Where has the time fly? Where has the time gone? Huh, everybody? Alright. Wow. Lots of things going on. Look at that. It's the 20th, the end of May, end of April. Already almost through the half of the year. What's going on, everybody? Alright. My correspondents are sending me live updates as we speak right now. Thank you. And thank you for the Martha While We're Ending band for playing at the beginning. As always, lovely as ever. Alright. Now, let's get started. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Welcome to Geezy Truth News. It's been a while. Whoo, we got a lot of things. Lots of bippity bopping around to do. Okay, I got reports all over. My office is filled with reports. Reports and paperwork and too much business to even handle. Okay, what's going on? Okay. So, before we begin, I do have a few important announcements to make. There's a special jubilee going on. Remember we've been talking about that special news. We're winning. The good guys are winning. Everybody's doing just great. Fantastic. Very happy. The team members that I got on my board of councils over here, representatives, everybody's doing great. Thank you. So, and before we continue with that, it sounds like my technical engineers are tuning in, telling me that we may have some technical difficulties on tonight's show. Alright, thank you very much. Appreciate that news update there. And so, phone lines are open. Okay, thank you everybody. So callers call in. The phone lines are open. Everybody is callers call in, please. We got a lot of things to talk about now. First of all, how's everybody doing? Whew! Lots of things going on. So let me say, the good guys are winning. Don't be the pessimists out there listening to the show right now. Don't worry about it. All the crazy stuff. We're going to get to all of that. Trust me, we'll talk about all of this on tonight's show right now. And we're having indictments all over the place. The fake media, the fake news, everybody's going around propaganding all around. Operation Mockingbird, all the same Simity Somp is going on. So don't be disparaged. The good guys are winning. It sounds like there's a big thing going on in Syria right now. Well, we have multiple reports saying that that is not the case. There is no the war is not happening. You know, they've been trying to push the WW3 for a long time, and it's just, look how hard they're trying, and they can't squeeze a drop out. And what's happening is because in reality, Donny Boy and what's the nickname? We have no nicknames for the little poo-poo over there on the other side of the world, and he's doing just fine. And so they're coordinating, while in reality we got the the military industrial complex and all that yada yada. They're working in, hey, Halliburton's got to make money, Blackwater's got to make money. What do you expect? That's okay. That's just as they say, business as usual. But here's the thing, that when they've been given direct orders on where to hit, where there's no damage being done. They're saying that all this stuff, the cause of gas is just inflation. It's just artificial inflation. Has nothing to do with the war. They're saying, well, with the war, that's why the gas prices are going up. Has nothing to do with any of that. Believe me. OPEC is just raising artificial gas prices up, and that's how it works. You want to capitalize on your gains. That's exactly what you do. So what happened with that one guy in New York, the investment banker with what's his face, Shkreli? He did some embezzlement and got 7 years, and that's what happened. The thing is the Saudis don't have to listen by New York State court. All they got to do is do their little OPEC deals over there in the Middle East, and hey, we only got a few allies over there, so we'll take what we can get. Again, so let's start with the internal politics right now. So right now I got a special report coming in. Thank you very much. We've had big things going on. I'm sure everybody's been hearing about Comey and McCabe and all the bibbity bops all around here. They're all under indictments, is what it says. It says according to a special agent that doesn't want to be named, or there's names to be there, and we'll post the links. We'll put all the resources up on there. But everybody should be informed and know that apparently the good guys are winning. Looks like Comey, McCabe, Clinton, all the, Clapper, all these wimpity womps are all just going down the drain. And so, I mean, we'll see how all this kerfuffle flattens out, because so far it seems like it's just dragging the waters. It's just taking a little slow pace. A lot of people, a lot of Donny Boy supporters are disappointed in Donny Boy's ways of taking action here right now. He's doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of tidbits all around, but he's not doing the main things. And we'll get to the, the Federal Reserve and all that, and the financials, what's going on with the economy and everything. But the most important thing, and by the way, callers call in. The phone line should be open. Looks like we got the technical engineers turning that on. Is that we have our top level government doing some shady stuff. We talked about Uranium One and all this stuff. Looks like we got a special request. Looks like we got more updates. We'll talk about all those later. So again, remember the special Jubilee coming up and all that. We're all in the mix of all these projects. Everybody's working vehemently to work on everything and take care of all these projects and bring them up to surface to the American people and make sense of it all. So we have a lot of contributors and a lot of supporters, and it's great. So the citizens, the patriots, we got to stand up, people. We got to, knowing the truth is half the battle. So pay attention to all this stuff, and we have a lot to talk about. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. So, okay, fantastic. So we got all this. Now, the great thing about Comey is that the bad guys totally flipped him, or they threw him under the bus. So now he's flipping, and now he's flipping everybody else. And now, in recent events, we heard that he just flew Andrew McCabe under the bus. Well, now they're going to be, former FBI guys are going to be head-to-head over here. And so, again, with the Comey book and everything, most analysis have been saying that it's not that there's been not enough info about the Donny Boy thing, but there's plenty of info about Comey, and the rest of his history and how he pretty much is snitching on everybody. So that's what's going on. So he's talking about all this, and then McCabe said he's about to write a book. So great. This is the falling of the cards that we've been waiting for. Now, it would have been a great guess to say that the head of the FBI was going to be the first card to fall. Now, if that's the case, maybe so, or the former anyway, I should say. But so, if all of this is going on, then that means the steps are going right. And remember, the executive order that Donny Boy signed up in December 21st, taking care of the corruption and the child pedophilia and all that stuff, and Pizzagate and all that is all tied into all this stuff. So, as absurd as all that sounds, I mean, that's what's going on. I mean, how else? Remember the insurance file that they found in Anthony Weiner's file and all this stuff, and how the New York State Police Department didn't want to leak all this out, and then the FBI hid it. And I mean, this is just the service, ladies and gentlemen. So, to that we have that. The indictments are looking. Now, there's a lot of kerfuffling around the Donny Boy thing. A lot of people want him impeached. Well, who's to say what's going to happen? The smart thing would not be to impeach him, because then you have, the Mike Pence guy up in office. So, I mean, if all the Democrats, if they all want to impeach Demo, or whoever, anybody who wants to impeach Donny Boy, you have to understand, if you're going to do that, then the next guy in charge is going to be Pence, and you don't know how what was this guy, a dove, or is this guy a hawk, or what's the deal here? He doesn't really say much, and you know what they say about the quiet guys. So anyway, callers call in, technical engineers, thank you very much, correspondents, journalists. So we got all that under wraps. Now let's talk about the economy. The economy is just fantastic. Not. People are losing their jobs all the time. People are losing their money. It's all the same sneezy. But Donny Boy's trying very hard to bring jobs back with the tariffs and stuff. With the propaganda and all that about saying the tariffs, how they're going to bring it, how they're going to take away jobs, and how they're going to start a trade war. Well, guess what? The trade war has been going on this whole entire time, and the trade war has been us paying them 25% and them paying us 2.5%, and that's how the agreement has been going on for 30 years, and so that's why you see everything is going on right now with all the corporations. It'd be best to look at it this way, where the corporations are themselves countries, because you can't really look at the countries and say, okay, U.S. did this and China did that and Russia is doing this. That's one facet of the whole thing, but the main thing, and remember what Thomas Jefferson said about banks and how they're more in corporations and how they're more dangerous than standing armies, is the fact that the corporations, which by the way, that's another thing that Donny Boy should do, is reinstate that rule where after 20 years the corporations dissolve, and the fact that they haven't done that yet is a big no-no. That's one of the things that they need to bring back up to the laws. So talking about taking 2 laws out by adding 1 in, well, you could talk about all those and just add that 1 rule in, and then just ban all these different corporations. And what happens is it doesn't dissolve, it just breaks up. It breaks up and causes less of a monopoly and more economy, and that's the whole thing. But you have to understand, with the back to the economy, that's the whole reason, and it's getting worse. The inflation through deflation, as the economy bubble keeps going up, people are already getting out. Countries are already getting out. For example, and we'll bring this up. We'll get the technical engineers to bring this up. Is the Turkey, for example. Oh, here we go. We got a caller right here. Hello, this is Geezy Truth News.
Yes, Jeezy, how's it going today?
Fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been a good day.
What is your question, or what do you have in mind to talk about?
Well, yeah, I've been watching your show, a few times now. I was watching you currently, and I was just, kind of wondering about your perspectives and your comments you've been saying. I mean, in some ways, you say you want Donny Boy to bring back that thing that would allow corporations to dissolve, but I don't know, man. He wouldn't really be in the position to do it, but why would he want to? He would make more money off of not doing that. I mean, his buddies too. So, and he's not the type of guy to make less money,
Right, exactly, and that's why a lot of Donny Boy supporters have been, moving away from him, is because a lot of people were believing that he was going to be like a Andrew Jackson, JFK kind of president, saying, "Hey, we're going to cut all this stuff off, and we're going to bring all this stuff up."
That would have been nice, but what do you think? What do you think about Donny Boy now? What's your, in your expert opinion? What's your opinion about him as a president and his current standing?
Well,
I know how earlier you mentioned that if we impeach Trump, that Mike Pence would take over then. Well, what if we impeach the whole cabinet for because it's the whole cabinet whole cabinet's rotten. We don't want any other cabinet in there to take over, so it would just be like a different election. We'd have like a special election for the presidency at that point then, because the Speaker of the House is also retiring, so he wouldn't be able to take over. So, a special election I think would be the best thing after we impeach the cabinet.
Right. Well, the thing is that I mean, it's all corrupt. You know, all the top levels of the government are all corrupt, and that's how it's been working for the past who knows how long. So, some say 70, 80 years, some say more than that. But
I mean, it's true. I mean, but it's kind of hard. It's hard to ignore, you know, like $100 bills, you know, in your face. It's a little hard.
it's very true. So, I mean, my expert opinion is like any other opinion, is because they're not letting him do anything. He's apparently trying to do all these things, and if he just keeps getting shut down every term he gets, then he's not going to be able to do anything.
But like the things that he tries to do are like pretty shady. Like the tax bill that he signed, you know, the tax bill sure it gave corporations a big tax break, but I don't own a corporation. I would love to, and I would love that to rule then. But to regular people, that you know, those tax breaks don't really help them very well. So a lot of things that he does are self-interested, you know, and that's what he gets upset about because they don't let him do self-interested things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the hope was that he wasn't going to be able to be bought out, and that's, I mean, it still seems that way, but you know, that's the whole thing is that
bought out, but I think he's just like buying himself out, like just doing things to make himself more money, like not taking his bribes, but just allowing rules for his corporations and his benefits. You know.
Right, exactly. And you know what? If they find the evidence for any of that, look, I'm in support of the laws and the judicial system and everything. I mean, this is the Constitution. This is the United States of America. We're at the forefront of freedom. If they find Donny Boy in any way, you know, if they find him doing any illegal acts, I'd be the first one to say, yeah, go ahead and arrest him, impeach him, do whatever. But so far, they haven't found any evidence. That's the whole thing.
But so we don't have any like concrete evidence saying that there's like collusion, but just his general behavior, general doing, he's not right for leading the country as in for the people. You know, he looks like he's doing everything to self-interest, just for himself. You see, I mean, so you know, maybe he is a good, you know, good guy for himself, but not for the rest of the country. He's just benefiting himself.
Right. Well, and again, like I say, I mean, he's been in the presidency for how long now? Almost 2 years? Just about 2 years, and they still talk about Russian collusion. Don't you think after 2 years they would have found something? I mean, at least even one piece of evidence where they could have said, okay, here they want to. No, and I'm not denying anything. I'm not saying that he has or doesn't.
I mean, they have all like 1,000 breadcrumbs, 1,000 like leads. You know, where Russian agents and Russian ambassadors were in the White House. And there were secret Russian meetings that were over there. You know, there's a lot of shady stuff that's going around.
Right. So there may be leads, there may be this, there may be that. I mean, the you know, the cookie crumbles and the apple doesn't fall far from the tree and all those things. But
you know, all the sanctions that are supposed to be, you know, put on Russia, but the president just keeps saying, no, we're not going to put them on yet. That's all up to, like, he's supposed to put them. He actually took some of them down, and he's refusing to put them up still.
Right. Well, that's because there's a lot of look, there's a lot of different facets in about all of this. You know, there's still no.
Paid by anybody to say what you're saying?
What's that?
Are you getting paid by anybody to say what you're saying? Because you're very pro, you know, to the left. You're very pro, you know. You're very pro right. You're very pro right, and it's just. It seems like, you know, a lot of the general facts and general things that we have found out have gone contrary towards going towards general right.
Well, then express how you think. Like, how do you think the way things are going right now?
I don't know, man.
In terms of Syria and the politics and everything with the Donny Boy.
You have to tell. They're all really shady. They're all really crooked. I mean, one's less crooked than the other. So I don't know if we can really trust a less crooked person than somebody more crooked, but I think that's the road we're going to have to at this point, because we can't put all of them out, because that's not going to work. So we need to, you know, just start trying to trust people that I don't know. It's hard to say.
I definitely don't disagree that they're all corrupt. I'm not in favor of red or blue. I think they're all corrupt. I think they're on the same team, and I think it's all just one giant gimmick to enslave the whole human race. I mean, as ridiculous as it gets. I mean, if you just look at the past 10, 20, 30 years, you slowly see every year. You slowly see rights are being taken away, more rules, less.
But you slowly see
all these.
From like the Republican Party when they're in power. You know, usually when the Republican Party is in power, a lot of those rules and regulations come into effect. Like the regulation that the corporation needed to dissolve, that was taken away when a Republican majority was in the House and a Republican president was in the seat.
Okay, and they're trying to keep all that, and that's why they're trying to keep all the Republican. But even with the whole, even with the Republicans having the seat in the Congress and everything, they still can't do anything.
Yes, they can, because right now the president is the president. He's a Republican, and in the House at the moment is is a Republican. So he can.
Sure, but what have they done specifically that would that was like a big deal? I mean, there's a few things that we could talk about, but nothing like major, nothing like life changing.
I think he's got like 4 multiple personalities in there, just telling him what to do, and one day he says one thing. But let's talk about something else. Mr. Bain.
Well, no, because I want to finish up that talking point. I think the bottom line is you have to understand that everybody's playing 3D chess, and everybody's got an agenda. So whatever the agenda is, look, if they're just trying to make money, they're just trying to make money. They'll say whatever. You have to understand the corporations and the lobbyists, they'll pay the politicians. Most of the politicians are bought and sold for. So it doesn't matter who they are and who they stand for. At the end of the day, if you got a pile of money and shoving it in his face, he'll say whatever you want him to say. Or her.
Yeah. It's true. That's a lot of times. It's hard to break that up politicians.
And that was the whole thing with Donnie Boys, because he was so filthy rich. Apparently, hopefully that would have been nice. He wouldn't have been able to get bought out for. It's very true. It's very true. All of that is very true. But at the same time, you just have to have some optimism. Like I really don't think. Look, it comes back down to worse and worse. They're all evil. At least he wasn't a politician. At least he was someone else. Look, if he messes up, at least we tried. And then after that, we'll definitely figure it out after that, because there's no going back after Donnie Boy.
We definitely needed something different, because if he doesn't work out,
there's not going to be a Clinton or a Bush after Donnie Boy. I could guarantee you that.
I would kind of like, imagine, think about this. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I'm floating that out there. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is the next president. I mean, it'd be kind of cool.
Who are you talking about?
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson?
I don't know who that is.
What?
Who are you talking about?
You're in newscasting. You're in investigating news, and you don't know who, the most electrifying man is?
The most who?
You can't smell the story right now? I can smell the story from a mile away.
Who are you talking about?
No, fuck, man. The Rock would be very disappointed in you right now.
Are you talking about like a celebrity or something?
Yeah, if he was
because if you're talking about a celebrity, I mean, yeah, that's a different story. Look, I mean, I'm with the American people. If the American people want to go that route, I guess, what the hey, life is entertaining, and what it comes down to is that life is, it is what it is, and so you have to accept it no matter what. And if the American people want to choose a celebrity or have like a, then okay, fine, then we'll have some fun. I mean, we pretty much already did that with Donnie Boy. I mean, we've been so sick. I mean, that was the whole thing. There was many things about all that. But we were so sick of the Clinton and the Bush and all the thing, and that's why we clicked Donnie Boy, because he wasn't a politician. He was a bit of a jokester. He's a bit of a celebrity. And there you go. So we already have Dwayne Johnson, or whoever you said.
But we already had like a Donnie Boy before. He was Ronald Reagan. So he was also an actor that came in there, like Donnie Boy, and.
Yeah, that was a bit different though. I mean, Reagan was a bit different, and he didn't really push the curve like others did, and not to take anything away from Reagan. Reagan did do some incredible stuff, but that again, you can't compare the different times. I mean, that was in the mid late 80s, and that's.
No, you have to, because you're comparing about two two different times, but you're comparing two of the same things.
Well, during that time was the Soviet Union. He took down the Soviet Union with Theresa May and what was the other guy's face, and they're all
That was gonna happen.
and they had so it was like a different climate. I mean, it was like the end of Cold War type of period. I mean, it's hard to compare. I see what you're saying, but
I have another question. My investigative team has just uncovered that they have just told me I'm laying here right in front of me with this hitting news that just hit me. It told me that the Geezy is Russian. You were Russian born and you came here. So can we really trust that your information you're giving us is really credible?
Well, that must be some kind of conspiracy theory because I've never heard that before. Hold on, I'll be right back.
You might have like a hidden agenda or something, for the Russian Federation or the USSR, or Ivan Drago. It's hard to say. Don't tell me you don't know who Ivan Drago.
Yeah. I don't know what to say about all that, but look, I mean, people will have their conspiracy theories. I like facts.
Alright, I got another one. For like the last couple of years, John Boehner has been against marijuana. He has been completely against the things, saying all kinds of horrible, stupid, untruthful things about it. And then recently, he has joined, a marijuana board group where he is now supporting marijuana, and it happens to be that he's making now, a few more millions because of that opinion. So, back to the fact that all politicians can be bought and sold. What can we do, to avoid this?
Wait, so what's your question? What's the concern here?
Well, what can we do to avoid, the politicians from being able to be bought and sold? Like, how can you control people from being greedy and, not materialistic, but greedy and self-interested and not thinking about the country overall? We should definitely enact term limits. That way power can be consolidated, but we definitely need a different solution for this.
I'm missing the main point of your question. You're talking about monopolies?
No. In politics, what do we need to do to be able to control these politicians so that we don't get any more greedy and self-interested people in there, and
It's the right of the people to kick them out and put in good people. In the Constitution, it says that if the government has gone corrupt, we have to go and fix it. We are their bosses. The White House works for us. The White House, we're their boss. So if they're messing up, it's up to the citizens of the United States of America to go and say, hey, you guys aren't doing the job that we told you to do, so you're fired.
It's supposed to, but it looks like the people that tend to gravitate towards politics seems to be, more of those, more jackasses, more assholes, liars, and self-interested people like that. It seems to be that way. So I know that we're the bosses. The people should be the bosses, and they should work for us. But the general, result has been that more assholes, or maybe good people go into the system, into politics, trying to be good, but then eventually the system just turns in like that. So that way we definitely have to install term limits, but something else that has to be done.
Well, like JFK always said, it's those that make peaceful revolution inevitable make violent revolution inevitable. And I'm not condoning. I'm not saying violence is the answer, and I'm not advocating any of the sort. However, there needs to be peaceful talks. There needs to be peaceful resolution, peaceful revolution. And so we're hoping to do that through Donny Boy or through connection, through peace talks. And if that doesn't happen, then we'll obviously have to figure out other ways.
Right. At least Donny Boy, is going to be is the start of the revolution. And also like I like how you brought up JFK because he also said those the hottest places in hell are reserved for those who, in great times of moral crisis, maintain their neutrality. So I feel that if we ever see a situation where we feel something is up, but we don't say anything, we don't do something about it. Like if somebody's getting hurt or something is wrong,
you're just as bad as the culprit. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
You're just as bad as the culprit. Damn straight. That's why when Hillary Clinton was doing all those, why do you think they're talking about all the uranium one? I mean, they've been talking about the uranium one, but obviously the agenda. Everybody's got agendas. they have the indictments of the uranium one with Hillary Clinton. So with all these talks about Donny Boy, look, you guys everybody find something that's not good with Donny Boy, and let's impeach his ass. But the fact of the matter is, so far we found more info containing DNC corruption. I mean, we know that Hillary, I mean, it's ridiculous that we're talking about this 2 years after the fact. But we all know that Hillary kicked Bernie out, and we all know that she made profits from the Uranium One deal when she wasn't supposed to. And we all know all these other different stories that I'm sure they're already all out, but they're going to be for sure eventually, sooner than later, most people would hope.
Well, it's been great to have you on the show. I'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, caller. Have a great one. Thank you for the call. All right. Now then, where were we? On to the next topics. So, talked about the economy. Things are doing interesting. Now, they're doing bad, but look, everybody just can't say that things are going to be doing great. You just got to go with the flow. So just, fill up your water and food. Do the best you can. If there's going to be a nuclear holocaust, then we're all screwed. But you can do the best you can. Stocking up on like 3 months of food and water, whatever. Well, I mean, whatever, Why not? And so, all kinds of crazy things are going on. So, what's happening with the Federal Reserve? We were talking about with the Federal Reserve. So, a country completely took out all its reserves. So, here's what I was going to post. It's Investment Watch blog. Turkey removes gold from Federal Reserve, further dissolving U.S. alliance. So this is a big deal, and I doubt they're talking about this on the mainstream media, because they never talk about anything besides, I don't know, some celebrity's underpants or whatever's going on, like all the time. It's just garbage. But bottom line is, so here we go. So here's a direct indication that there's going to be something crazy going on this year, imminent future. Everybody talks about this. But you don't have to listen to all the people. You watch what everybody's doing. You watch the actions. You don't listen to the words. Listening to the words can never hurt. But watching the actions, that's where you find the details. That's where you see the details in the blueprints. That's where you see the details in the plans and where the future holds, or what they're trying to do. So here you go. So the Turkey removes the gold. And it's, like 220, tons, 220 tons of gold. They take that out, so they're further dissolving the U.S. alliance, which means that there's going to be less trade. There's going to be less partnerships. And so, I don't know if this has to do with the BRICS system that they're trying to do. They've got the BRICS system. They have had the SWIFT system, but they're doing the BRICS. And I believe... Turkey, not to my knowledge, Turkey was not part of BRICS, but they may be trying to join in on it. So this is maybe a way of showing, hey, this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing this. So there's that. And now let's see. And so on top of that, and there's different countries doing that. We have the Federal Reserve doing inflation through deflation and all this. And then we've been talking about all these debts, all these quantitative easings, all these fractional reserve lendings. They got the subprime mortgages roaring back. Investment Watch blog again with this information. So here you go with that. I've read that we all know with the education system, the educational industrial complex, that's in the trillions of dollars in debt. So now, this next economic collapse, which could be by the end of the year, it could be October 2018, it could be anything, but it seems like a lot more scarier than what we had to deal with in 2008. This is going to be quite a shock compared to the other one. Because not only are the subprime mortgages roaring back, as IWB says and many other alternative websites, independent websites, also we have the educational industrial complex, and we also have the auto loan mortgages, or auto loan subprime loans. And so that's going to be all of this combined is not something to toot at, is pretty much what I'm saying. So there you go. More information about how the economy is not doing good. See, this is the one problem I have with Donny Boy, is that how he says how great the economy is. This is unfortunately not the case, and I don't know where he reads this or who. Goldman Sachs himself must be telling this to Donny Boy, because otherwise I don't know where he's getting this kind of information. According to IWB, 66% of people between age 21 and 32 have $0 saved in employer-sponsored retirement plans. That means, and I can guarantee you, if they don't have employer-sponsored retirement plans, then they most likely don't have their own retirement plans. You know, and this is, again, 66%, two-thirds. This is two-thirds of people. So here you go. There's that. And so you tell me the economy is doing great. Yeah, it could be 25,000, 24,000 points, 25,000 Dow Jones Industrial Average. It could hit 30,000. But how does that help when it's 66% of people in the United States of America between the ages 21 and 32 have nil saved in employer-sponsored retirement plans? So there you have it. And as a ballpark estimate, that's not a ballpark estimate. That's actually a scientific journal, peer-reviewed statistics. However, even if you want to take it as face value, it's still a remarkable statistic. So let's see. So we talked about the financial. We know about the complexes. We know about the industrial complexes throughout all this stuff. We got the James Clapper thing going on. We got the Comey thing going on. You know, talking about all this stuff. So what's happening with the rest of the world? Now, there's a couple more important topics before we end the show. Is that, first of all, the crypto thing is becoming more and more of a reality, because it seems like the more and more people are waking up to this, I mean, pretty much debt slave system with the fractional reserve lending and the quantitative easing at the 11th marble scheme of the Federal Reserve, which is the fractional reserve lending. More and more people are waking up to that, and more people are waking up to crypto or learning what Bitcoin is. Now, again, all of this has cons and pros and cons. So I'm not saying anything. I'm not condoning or endorsing anything, except for the fact that if crypto is if it's a direct rival to the Federal Reserve, well, that's a great thing, and I would highly say that that's a very good thing. Now, if there's things that I don't like about it. There's a lot of things that people can say that they don't like about it, and I agree. There's pros and cons to everything. The pro with the Federal Reserve is, well, you could print money all day long. That sounds great to me. Now, I'll never run out of money. But the con is, then inflation comes through, and then you have people like in Venezuela and here and all across the world, just like the Germans after World War I, is just burning paper for a fire to try to keep warm. So, large consequences for the contracts that people sign for. And so this crypto is pretty much, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. But it's a great direct competition to the Federal Reserve, and that I approve of, because what the banks are doing with the corporations, how all of that is going on, everybody is familiar, and who isn't is soon very fast finding out what the real case scenario is. So there's that. I wanted to talk about so we talked about the crypto thing, we talked about the economy. Before we get on to the big news of tonight's show, we want to talk about the Pizzagate thing, update on all that. All of that is pedogate. It seems like, according to the reports that we're getting here, is that it's coming. They're all getting caught. The good guys are winning. Please don't have any disparaging feelings about who's losing or who's what. The good guys are winning. The bad guys are losing. That is what's happening. And so, with knowing how the universe works, even if that wasn't the case, which we know it isn't, if everybody puts their spiritual sense into this, it could all be dissolved right away. Because this is some evil, sick work at hand here. I don't know what's going on with all that. I mean, we know to the best of our knowledge, but who knows what's in these sick, twisted minds. So that's what's going on. This December 21st executive order has been helping about that. And remember, see, that's what another good thing about Donnie Boy is that was his first executive order, and then the December 21st one towards the end of the year of 2017, I believe, is that he is eradicating these pedophiles. And I think that's maybe there's taken time. I would like to hope that maybe that's why he's taking time to take care of the Federal Reserve, the cabal, or whoever, all these different kinds of entities. So all that is happening. And so it looks like, to wrap up the show, we'll talk about the massive amount of more and more recent. Oh, looks like we have another caller here. Geezy Truth News, live at the network.
Hey, Geezy, how's it going today?
Great, how you doing?
Doing good. It's been a killer day. Over here just, smoking the reefer. How you doing?
Doing fantastic. The good guys are winning. Things are looking good. I mean, there's going to be some obstacles we got to go through, but hey, that's that's part of the game. That's how you play the game. Well, you called in at the right segment of the show. I wanted to start talking about the recent UFO sightings. A lot of the aliens are coming up. We have the Atacama incident, and we have a lot of UFO sightings. We just have an eyewitness news account of a UFO sighting in, where is that, Linwood, Washington?
Nice. What did they say?
And so there's all kinds of, well, it was a sighting. It wasn't a communication, to our knowledge. But every month, it's 2018 April now, coming up on May. Every month we have more and more recent discoveries of UFO sightings and UFO and aliens and all this great stuff. So this is the most exciting stuff. ET intervention is real. We have seen it. We have documented proof about our nuclear launch codes being deactivated during times of crisis. And so, what the most famous case and the most specific case is the Atacama incident down in South America. And they found this specimen, and they said it was a baby, but they did the bone density test and found out that it was not a baby. It had 10 ribs instead of 12 like humans do, and all these abnormalities. So we have these specifics, and it was only 30% close to human from what I recall in the investigative research. And as you know, even fruit flies have more in common with us, with the human genome, DNA structure. So with that in mind, I mean, there's definitely some funky things going on, and I do believe I don't subscribe into the notion that ETs, there are bad ETs, and that there's ETs that are willing to destroy us and all this nonsense. I don't believe in any of that, because I believe that if an ET has the ability to travel through the cosmos like that, then they have no necessary reason to, what do we have for them? Oil, gold? I mean, they're beyond, their comprehension level is so far beyond that. They wouldn't need these little things that we humans covet so much.
Yeah,
so what's your thoughts on all that?
Tuesday, I got into this fight with the chupacabra. That motherfucker bit the shit out of me. Jesus Christ, I'm still recovering. So good thing it's past legal right now where I'm living at. And, man...
Wait, I'm sorry, sir, but what does that have to do with anything?
Well, I'm just smoking a fat one right now. I mean, it's 420 right now. It's the national holiday. You gotta get in the mood, son.
No, okay, all right. Well, you enjoy your celebration and your vacation, sir. Thank you very much. But do you have any other...
Hey.
Yes?
Hey, you. Yeah, you. John Boehner is a Jew. He's like, or not John Boehner. He's a good guy.
Well, hold on. I'm sorry. We don't tolerate any kind of racism on this show, any kind of defamatory behavior on this show. So, I'm sorry, but we just had to cut you off. There's no reason for that, and the FCC is watching, and we have the, I'm not trying to break any rules here, and there's no reason for any kind of defamatory language on this show or on any other show. So, back to the main topic. To wrap everything up on today's show, the indictments on Comey, Hillary, and all these guys is coming up. The good guys are getting close to what's happening here. It looks like there's the things are really turning around. I mean, just last week we were talking about how all this nuclear stuff going on with Kim Jong-un. Well, now Donny Boy is meeting up with Kim Jong-un for peace talks, and Kim Jong-un just recently turned off his nuclear programs in showing compromise and all, and good things. So people are waking up, and it's really astounding. So the fact that that's the case already, taking a total 180 turn from nuclear bombs to peace talks and negotiations, fantastic. Now with this Putin stuff, with this sending back the diplomats and how he poisoned the Russian former spy in England, all of this is a lot of just whiff-waff. It's a lot of talking. There's not a whole lot of evidence just yet. There's a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of diplomats just talking in, speaking out what's happening, the hearsay, pointing fingers. So the facts are the facts, We've had reciprocity to all the sanctions, to all the things that we're doing right now. So we've sent diplomats back. He's sent diplomats back. We shut down the consulate. They shut down consulate. We have the UK and other European nations doing similar things. Okay, so this may all be working out to its own advantage. Now, again, you have to understand that they're playing 3D chess here. They may be doing this on purpose to show whatever is happening in front of the scenes. Always think what's happening behind the scenes. So, with all that happening, there's a lot of room for negotiation, and don't just look at it face value. There's no evidence. Show me the evidence. And so the people are winning. The good guys are winning. Facts are facts, and that is how we take it, and that is how the patriots of the United States of America do business. And to end on that note, the ET intervention, that is going to be interesting. The Atacama incident, look that up. There's again, like I said, that they were trying to convince us that it was human-born, but then we find out it's not human-born. The ribs anomaly, the skull anomaly, and many other things. So it's happening. And I think, I'm very confident, and everybody says this, and either it's going to happen eventually, but the times are coming real thin and real close here in a very good way. So I think the good guys are winning. Just do whatever you want. Take it easy. Be patriots. Do the best you can and live life. And to that, Geezy Truth News is out. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.